goes Joe Straub. Do I got to read this again? I got to do the reading again? Please don't. Please ask the read this.
Not after all those kisses you ate.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I want to take this. I want to take it.
You want to take it? I hope so.
It's on. I already turned it on.
That's right, I told you that.
No,
You have to stand. You don't do pledge the flag.
we don't have to like
Salute the flag and everything, do we?
You got anything in the bucket?
No.
It's a pot. It's a chamber.
Where's a lot of stuff you have in here?
It's stolen already.
Mayor,
pot.
Mr. Mayor, you're on TV.
You want to be on TV? Right now, it's not. Do you want to be on TV?
Yes.
It is on.
Yeah, Sonia, you put it on, didn't you?
Yes.
No,
No, but it's Soma TV. I mean, sorry to interrupt whatever the regularly scheduled programming is tonight, which I'm sure is, kind of upstate.
It's probably close to the mayor.
I mean, it's probably going to be McGeehee debating Summersgill from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You want to
Yes.
let it be known that we're returning from closed session,
Yes,
and it's approximately 9:40 p.m.
correct.
And we're reconvening in regular session. Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires that all meetings of public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7 provides that the governing body has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public at any meeting, and desire the governing body to comply with the provision of this act, same time it conduct this business in an orderly and expeditious manner, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee, Township of Maplewood, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that does hereby prohibit, except as set forth in the formal agenda, active participation in deliberations of the governing body by the public, except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit the public to the observations of the actions and discussions of the governing body of all its regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Gaffis?
Here.
Mr. Lembrick?
Here, yes.
Mr. McGeehee?
Here.
Mayor DeLuca?
Here.
Okay, we have resolution number 22-18.
Should we give, let's give a little history,
Yes.
okay? Me, you, me?
Go ahead.
Okay. It's my understanding that on January the
Sixth.
6th, the Township Committee held interviews for promotions for the position of sergeant within the police department, and that there were, in fact, 4 openings that were available to be filled. And that the Township Committee interviewed various individuals for those positions. The chief reported the results from the testing and the other objective criteria for promotion as set forth in the Township ordinance. And that based upon that information, the Township Committee selected 3 individuals to be promoted to sergeant. The preliminary agenda that was sent out for tonight's meeting indicated those promotions. Because of some questions that were raised regarding the process that was utilized in connection with those promotions were postponed pending further discussion by the Township Committee. That discussion has occurred in closed session, and each of the members of the governing body, having additional information, reaffirmed their votes, indicating that no information that they subsequently received or received prior to their original vote would have impacted or affected their vote, and they reaffirmed their vote in each instance with regard to each of the officers. So the issue then became, since the chief has a need for these officers, whether or not it should go off to February 6th, which is the next regularly scheduled meeting of the governing body, or the governing body should come back out tonight and in fact entertain those motions with regard to those officers. In which case the chief can notify those officers, Ms. Fritzen can bring them here, they can be sworn in and sign their appropriate oaths, and then assume their duties effective as of tomorrow or whenever those positions are available. And then at the will of the governing body, you can bring them in on February 6th if you choose, and they will already have had that position filled, and we could have the pomp and circumstances that is nice with these promotions. And I know there is precedent for having done this, I think in the fire department,
Yes.
where we had sworn an officer in prior to doing the actual pomp and circumstance. So that is the history behind it, and that's why we're here, really for two reasons. The other is, as I think was raised by somebody, the fact that the officers are not here is really irrelevant because it's really beneficial to them to get appointed as soon as possible. And they, in fact, were the officers that were originally selected by the governing body on January 6th. And after clarification of any issues that may have arisen, everyone is comfortable that those are the officers that they feel should be promoted. And Ms. Fritzen will then entertain resolutions with regard to them. I think that covers what happened.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Ms. Fritzen, could you please read the first resolution?
Mayor, did you want them read in full or by title?
No, read it by full.
Resolution number 22-18, a resolution appointing police officer Deshaun Marquis Lawson to Sergeant of the Maplewood Police Department. Whereas the position of Sergeant in the Maplewood Police Department of the Township of Maplewood has become vacant, and whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Maplewood has conducted interviews to fill the position of Sergeant in the Police Department, and whereas it has been determined that Police Officer Deshaun Marquis Lawson is qualified for the position, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee, Township of Maplewood, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that Police Officer Deshaun Marquis Lawson be and is hereby appointed to the position of Sergeant of the Maplewood Police Department in the Township of Maplewood, effective January 16th, 2018.
Your motion?
So moved.
Second. Please
Ms.
call the roll.
Adams?
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes.
We have another resolution.
Next resolution.
Resolution number 23-18, a resolution appointing police officer Alexander Jan Wright to Sergeant of the Maplewood Police Department. Whereas the position of Sergeant in the Maplewood Police Department of the Township of Maplewood has become vacant, whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Maplewood has conducted interviews to fill the position of Sergeant in the Police Department, and whereas it has been determined that Police Officer Alexander Jan Wright is qualified for the position, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee, Township of Maplewood, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that Police Officer Alexander Jan Wright being is hereby appointed to the position of Sergeant in the Maplewood Police Department in the Township of Maplewood, effective January 17th, 2018.
Your motion?
So moved.
Second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes.
We have a third resolution, resolution number 24-18, a resolution appointing police officer Brian Edward Wegley to Sergeant of the Maplewood Police Department. Whereas the position of Sergeant in the Maplewood Police Department in the Township of Maplewood has become vacant, whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Maplewood has conducted interviews to fill the position of Sergeant in the Police Department, and whereas it has been determined that Police Officer Brian Edward Wegley is qualified for the position, now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee, Township of Maplewood, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that Police Officer Brian Edward Wegley be and is hereby appointed to the position of Sergeant in the Maplewood Police Department in the Township of Maplewood, effective January 18th, 2018.
January.
Why did you do that, Ms. Fritzen?
They're all different.
Well, they were always different.
Well, because one is the 16th, one is the 17th, and one is the 18th.
And that's the way they were originally drafted.
Chief,
Yeah.
do you want to speak on this, Chief?
That's what the chief,
Yes, that's, yes, those specific dates were to go along with their officer seniority.
Okay, so there would be no issue as to who was, in terms of ultimate seniority, who was appointed first and who was appointed second, who was third. So you requested a staggering of the dates.
Yes.
Okay.
And can they all be
Sworn in.
sworn in the same
Yeah,
date?
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just the effective date of the resolution. Yep.
Okay. There, have you finished? Yes. Is there a motion on this one?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
No.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes. Okay, a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.